Hey, it's Rich. Today, Mark and Jenny and I are going to talk about the ability to change, about responding to anger, and how if you're raging out, you're going to need more than just probably yourself to deal with it. I think I did.
That's a beautiful.
I think I did something wrong.
That's a beautiful. No, this is going in.
Oh, I think I did something wrong though. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It's Rich,
And Jenny.
And Mark.
and we're here to podcast you up. Today, I thought we could talk a little bit about anger, and that was one of the themes in the sermon on Sunday was anger. And then I wrote about it for the paper, although I didn't write much. I mostly put in a piece of scripture.
Is that online? I don't get
Yes.
the paper. Oh, it is.
The paper's online, but I think you have to have a subscription.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure it's called a prescription.
Mm.
But I put in 2 Samuel 12, which is David and the prophet Nathan. Sometimes I feel weird putting in either just or mostly scripture because blah, blah, blah. Like, I guess I'm supposed to do something. But what if you're a person who is somewhat familiar with the Bible, but you don't really read it, and then you read this story of David and Nathan confronting him about killing Uriah and stealing his sheep?
Oh, yeah.
That seems better than what I could say, probably, since it's the Bible.
Do you have a regular thing every week?
I mostly do it November, December. Someone else is going to do it, but I mostly do it all year in our paper. And sometimes I put them on Facebook.
I mean, is it like a regular column thing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they have a whole box.
Yeah. Mark's probably wondering, why I haven't been open about the fact that I write for the paper a lot of times.
I am thinking that.
Anyway, so let's read it. Let me read it to you. The Lord. So David, if you're listening, you don't know, David, the king of Israel, the second king, saw a lady bathing on the roof, and he said, I'd like to be intimate with that lady. And he knew that it was somebody's wife, and he came over, and they slept together, and then David tried to trick her husband.
And he was a man after God's own heart.
Yep. David tried to trick her husband Uriah into sleeping with her, but he didn't. He wouldn't. And then David eventually has him killed. He doesn't kill him, but he puts him in a place where he puts him in a place where he would certainly be killed, which is really devious, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then this is God tells Nathan, a prophet, to go and rebuke him. The Lord sent Nathan to David. When he came to him, he said, there were two men in a certain town, one rich and the other poor. The rich man had a very large number of sheep and cattle, but the poor man had nothing except one little ewe lamb he had bought. He raised it, grew up with him. He raised it, and it grew up with him and his children. It shared his food, drank from his cup, and even slept in his arms. It was like a daughter to him. Now a traveler came to the rich man, but the rich man refrained from taking one of his own sheep or cattle to prepare a meal for the traveler who had come to him. Instead, he took the ewe lamb that belonged to the poor man and prepared it for the one who had come to him. David burned with anger against the man and said to Nathan, as surely as the Lord lives, the man who did this must die. He must pay for that lamb 4 times over because he did such a thing and had no pity. Then Nathan said to David, this is the part that sticks out to me the most, is you are the man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a bit of a curse. This is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says. I anointed you king over Israel, and I delivered you from the hand of Saul. I gave your master's house to you and your master's wives into your arms. I gave you all Israel and Judah. And if this had been too little, I would have given you even more. Why did you despise the word of the Lord by doing what is evil in his eyes? You struck down Uriah the Hittite with sword and took his wife to be your own. You killed him with the sword of the Ammonites. Now, therefore, the sword will never depart from your house, because you despised me and took the wife of Uriah the Hittite to be your own. And it goes on.
The sword, say that again. The sword of will never be from.
Depart from your house.
Yeah. Violence.
Oh,
Fighting.
violence.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
violence is going to reign in your
Oh, I
house.
see. Okay.
So then one of David's sons rapes his half-sister,
Yeah.
and then her full brother kills that brother.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
Well, and then Absalom and David, there's fighting there, and
yeah.
yeah.
So I think I was drawn to this in this context. Richard preached Sunday, and one of the verses is Ephesians 4:25. I think it says, "In your anger, do not sin." And I think it's interesting that sometimes the Bible says almost like anger is a sin. So yeah, I think we take it in the whole context. Of course, you're going to be angry sometimes, but what are you going to do? And then when this happens to David, Nathan's clearly telling an analogy or a parable, right? It's clear there was a man
Yeah.
and there was a guy, and David he reacts so that man must die. Well, there is no man. This is right. I mean, there's no.
No specific person.
Yeah, it's a story. It's
Right.
and it's so clear, at least to me. And I was just wondering, and if I'm reading into that, God forgive me, but when you're wrong and you screwed your head on into a thing that you're going to be right about, your responses reveal
Oh, okay.
that you're angry or that you're out of balance on the issue. I think David's over response to that man must die, where when you read that, you go, oh, he's telling a parable.
Yeah.
But David went, well, kill that son of a gun.
Yeah.
So anger and other things, but anger I think was kind of, his self-anger was kind of blinding him to what was really going on. And then I didn't get to say it in the paper because there's just not enough space, but there's a verse I should have looked up before we sat down, but it says, the very things you accuse others of doing, you do.
Yeah.
So the things that we accuse others of doing are somewhat true of ourselves. And,
Yes.
and when they are true, they can especially hide it, I think. Before we get to anger, maybe specifically, am I using that word right?
No.
Okay, good. I texted you guys yesterday, I think, that as Christians, in some extent, we're asking people to change at some point. And somehow it doesn't always come out that if we're not doing this, we're really lost, I think. But that I'm committed to change. Like every time I'm in the Word, I'm committed to changing. I'm not saying I'm whatever, but like when I read that the Lord is my shepherd, that's changing my mind, because all of a sudden I felt like I have no shepherd. I'm walking to a very hard situation, walking down the hall. I know something's really bad in there, but the Lord is my shepherd. It's changing my mind about.
Yeah.
And then even if I walk through the dark valley, I know you're with me, changing my mind. And I desire to make it more known to the people who aren't Christian, for instance, that I'm changing my mind too. I'm not just asking you to agree with me, even about Jesus, but like I'm changing my mind.
Yeah.
You guys, do you see that? Do you think that is there a way to be more open about that, or what do you think? How can we let people know that we're not this monolithic? We have the truth. We are the truth.
And we've got it figured out,
yeah.
right?
Or that there's no variance. There's no humanity. All that stuff undermines our
Right.
humanity to not be a changing person.
Yeah.
I've had to have some hard conversations in the last couple weeks. And in those conversations, I know that I have a perspective that's not shared by the person that I'm speaking with. And so I've thought of it, and I do feel like that this has been something that the Lord has given me to think on. But this idea that I hold this perspective, they hold this other perspective, but because of who I am in Christ, because of what God is doing in my life and in the lives of the people that I'm having these conversations with, I can hold space for those perspectives in love and respect. Like, I don't have to have agreement, but I can hold space for that. And I can pray my hope is that there will be agreement someday on some things. That's my hope. But I can still, I don't want to me, it felt like I was just trying to be patient, trying to be open and live in a loving relationship and an honest relationship, honestly sharing these things, but I'm not shutting things down. I felt like I was able to say, this is what I think, and this is how I'm acting based on the values that I have. And I know that we don't share those values, but I am not shutting this relationship down.
Can you draw a little line for me between those two thoughts? I think I can't quite see it.
I guess it sometimes I think you were saying about being monolithic in our thinking, and it wasn't necessarily that. I guess what changed for me, what God is doing is, in my mind, is helping me. I don't know. Maybe he'll have to cut this out because
We're not cutting it out.
That's fine.
I'm just I guess forming this thought in this moment, which is not always great.
No, I think it's better.
Yeah, it's real.
I guess I'm trying to. I guess it is the hope of change that the Lord, the Holy Spirit, can change our minds about things, and we can still be in relationship together. We can be allowing people to change, allowing ourselves to change, allowing a fullness of Christ to be present. I think that was part of just this fullness of my understanding is limited, and God keeps expanding it. And as he expands my understanding of that, I'm his daughter and I'm dearly loved, and learning how to rest in that and to live in that fullness of Christ. And I feel like it might sound too woo woo woo. I don't know, but I felt a rootedness in Christ, in those conversations that when before I often felt grasping, I had to make sure that I said everything exactly right so that I could change this person's mind about it. When I was just really okay, I'm just going to share my heart and my understanding of how things are right now. And I'm going to ask them to love me, even though we're not meeting. And I am seeking to love them, even though we're not meeting. And I am looking that this is going, I believe that God is going to do some change. I don't know exactly what that will look like, but I'm looking for him to change my mind, to change other people's mind toward him, that our perspective would become Christ-like.
My dad gave me a lot of bad advice, but he must have got this from a book the day he told me, because he would have got it wrong, I think.
Okay.
He said, Richie, if you ever want to change someone else, think of how hard it is to change the smallest thing about yourself. And that just lingered.
How was that wrong?
No, it's good.
Oh, I was going to say.
The other advice was
Okay. Okay.
not even fit,
You don't
not
wanna
even
hear-
fit for this,
Okay,
this
got
type
it.
of podcast.
Yeah, got it.
This is rated G.
Yeah.
I ran into one of my friends at the farmer's market, and I was telling him about last Sunday, because he asked me if we took the Bible literally at our church, and I was like, I think so. I'm not. Literally is a really loaded word.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's historical stuff. Well, that would even be literal.
There's poetry.
Well, no, there's poetry. Yeah.
There's letters.
Yeah.
There's narrative.
Yeah.
Those are all. Anyway, it all depends what. So I said, you could have a lot of disagreement about some things, and be okay, comfortable. Now, if you didn't believe that God made the world, then that's probably going to stand out at some point.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to say, hey, if you got to get out of here, you
Yeah.
talk about evolution or even mention or whatever. So.
Yeah.
But I said, I told him we were talking about our desire for over control, and he said he didn't have an over desire for control. And I said, oh, I don't believe you. That's what I thought. I said,
Yeah.
and so I was trying to a little bit see if I could lead him there.
Yeah.
And so I told this story. I don't know if I didn't tell this on here already. Maybe I did. Did I tell you about the lady at Walmart who checks your receipt?
I don't think so.
Well, I'll do it fast in case I did it last time, because we may have talked about that last time. Anyway, you have to check yourself out usually at Walmart now, and then they want to check your receipt at the door.
Yeah.
I think we did talk about this, because I said I don't think I've ever stolen anything, and then I have to face this accountability. And she says, How many bins do you have, Mr. Ellis or sir? And I was like, I don't know. And she says, you don't know how many bins you have? And I said, I don't want to talk to you.
Right.
Yeah, just like that. Not even say, I don't want to talk to you. I said, I don't want to talk to you. And then she said, oh, okay. And then it doesn't meet my standard. It doesn't meet my standard.
I don't even stop, but yeah, I just keep going.
Right. That doesn't meet my standard.
Yeah.
So I do want to be left alone. So I was saying, well, that needs to change. So I've been praying about it. I've been praying for her. And nothing crazy good has happened except for that. Now when I see her, because it's been there twice since then, and I just go, oh, okay. Lord, what do you want to do? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Give her your receipt. I don't know that I'll tell her how many bins I have. I don't want to be accountable to her. But maybe if I said, I don't know, sweetie, or toots, I don't know. That's the wrong way. Toots, that's what my dad would say. I know. Just kidding. I'm playing.
I know you are. I know.
But I would say,
I would say the toots thing is probably
my dad
not.
loved the word toots.
Yeah.
Toots is good.
My mom used to say that.
Did she?
Yeah.
Anyway, the point is that I want to change. And I thought that example to my friend might go, yeah, I can relate to that. But I don't think he was quite there. So if we'd had another bit of time. But here's the thing. So if you're not in touch with that, and you're not in touch with that, right? If you're not in touch with, I over desire to control things. I have an over desire to control people and things.
Yeah.
Then you're just not in touch with that. And I have a hard time believing that anyone could truly own up to not having an over desire.
Well, I think a lot of people, they're envisioning what that looks like in some ways, and they're like going to the extreme of like, oh, these are the people that are, dictating what their wives wear, what their children wear, where they go, what they read, what they watch. I think they're thinking of that.
I think too for him, it could have been professionally. I don't have an over desire because of his job, and that would, we're all presenting something that we want. But my point with that was that I was trying to say, I'm trying to change. Our church is a place where change can occur.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love
we're
that.
asking
Can you say that again? Because I think like that's.
I'm not Jackie Hill Perry, Jenny.
I just like that. I
No,
think
I'd like
that's
to hear that again too.
Thank you, Mark. And props to
You-
Jackie Hill Perry. If you're listening to
You say
this,
it then.
thank you.
You're pushing on me to make me say things again.
But I'm like amening you. Like I'm like saying yes. That's like
Our
I'm-
our church is a place for change.
I'm excited about that.
And the real church.
Yeah.
Not that we're the real church, but the real church is a place for change. And so I was trying to then shift myself over into the position I was asking my friend to take, is that this is the place where I guess I want to control the situation. I don't want to feel like I'm accused,
Yeah.
But it's also unacceptable for me to be to dehumanize, I think, a little bit in that
Yeah.
situation. And there's other ones, of course, but that was a pretty neat one for an example. And I really have thought a lot about it.
That's a change that I'm going through. With starting with, I don't know if have we talked about Charlie Kirk on here. I mean, what's the word?
There's not a word. There's a bunch of words. You're
Yeah,
angry.
right. I was angry for sure.
You're demoralized.
Yeah. I wanted, and this is a confession, I literally wanted to hurt somebody. I was so angry about that. And wanted to lash out. And what the Holy Spirit, I think, is doing in me is that's of zero value, first of all, to me. And secondly, to any, it has nothing to do with kingdom building. And so if you can take that evil and try to point it to some good, there's a phenomenon, and whether it's because of Charlie Kirk or not, of people wanting to go to church for the first time and for...
All right, don't get too far that direction. Connect us back to the thing that you're responding to about, if you would. What
Well,
are you
I think that-
responding to?
Well, that's part of it, that to point back to the good that has happened instead of just being angry
Okay.
and wanting to hurt somebody for what they did or how they acted afterwards.
So in your
Despite,
response,
yeah,
because one of the verses I said is, "In your anger, do not sin, although you may have sinned already."
no, I did for
Okay.
for sure, yeah,
But instead of continuing in sin,
Yeah.
you started to say, "Well, I can be thankful for this out
Yeah.
of that,
Yeah.
and I can put this into perspective."
yeah.
But you understand that that's not what everyone does, right?
No,
some
of
people
course not, no.
They
I don't want to live in that, but
right. They
yeah.
feed their anger with more anger.
Yeah.
There's plenty of things to be angry about
Yeah.
every day, right?
Yeah,
So that's the change that we're talking about, is
Yeah.
that there's a way to respond that isn't just
yeah, yeah.
something I felt compassion for on Sunday that I kind of, maybe I should just talk about that Sunday. Anyway, anger, and it talks about rage and bitterness.
Yeah.
And rage to me is a whole different monster that probably needs more than just an admonition to not rage.
Yeah.
And I know the people in church pretty well, and I know even recently people who've been enraged, and I've been enraged.
Yeah.
It's been a good long time, but it probably takes more than just don't do it.
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, in the midst of my anger, that wouldn't have not been, I wouldn't have taken that well,
Well, I'm even saying I think maybe what you were going through was still anger, but I've been so angry, I think a couple times where I was beside myself, as if I was watching myself play out this
Not
scene.
that whole time, but there were episodes where I was like that.
Yeah. Right. So I don't know the scale. I don't think anger works on a scale like you can say what's pleased, peaceful, angry,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
rage. I think
Yeah.
rage is almost like in some ways it's a separate thing.
I do know what you're talking about, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where you can't even think straight, you know.
Right. And we're definitely commanded to not rage out.
Yeah.
And I just think what I guess I'm trying to get to is if someone has let's say you experienced rage, you should go to your pastor or your spiritual friend and say, "Hey, I raged out." First of all, the confession. Secondly, say, "Well, let's try to get to the bottom of it and see," because it's very destructive, right?
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
too dangerous.
Yes.
Yeah. No
Well,
one.
I did want to ask that. Do you think I should have, and should have, would have, whatever, but I talk more about it?
I don't know.
I
I
don't
think
know
you
either.
did talk some about it, but I guess well, first of all, people often, they kind of brag about their sin. And when it comes to rage, I was so angry. I called them up
Oh, I told
and
them
I cussed them out,
Oh,
or
yeah.
God forgive me,
Yeah.
meaning not really God forgive me, but I was so angry.
Yeah.
And
I
what
went
they knew
back in
about
that store and I let them know. I taught them a lesson.
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't think I had that. I didn't feel like that.
Well, I think that's one thing, and then a second is to certainly to apply the word to it, and then like sometimes underneath that rage, there's like I know one of the times it was fear, like clearly fear of what the person who I felt rage about, and not even toward them, but about the situation. I was afraid of what would happen to them if they kept on that path.
Okay.
So fear is like to be honest and about the fear, because here's what you rage out, right? You lose your mind a little bit, even a little. I don't know if I can do it a little bit. Yeah, I think I can actually. And then you come into yourself and you go, okay, well that was just how stupid they were being, or you can go, well I don't want to be like that. Right. So there's a crossroads there, and then there's a next crossroads. I wonder who could. This is what I think about, because you guys know I don't tell you, either one of you guys, and you're very, Jenny is like a wife to me. Mark's one of my closest friends. I don't tell you guys everything for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
And not because I'm hiding from you,
Right.
but I'm protecting you in some ways.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. And some of my hardest thoughts they're not evil. They're just hard. And so I would say, who could handle this really hard thought? And I asked the Lord even about it.
Okay.
Anyway, all that to say,
Yeah.
so I've chosen this path of saying, okay, I'm going to talk to someone. Oh, sorry. The first step was I'm going to agree that I don't want to be a rager. And secondly, who could handle this story, this thing that happened to me? Who could I talk to about it honestly? And then beyond that, like, what am I going to talk about and what am I not going to talk about? But we just don't. I mean, I don't know why my time isn't just filled with doing this for people.
Yeah.
Because people they just don't have it. They don't have,
Yeah.
I don't think the conversations that you and I have, Mark, people don't have. And I don't know about people who are married if they
have
sit in bed and talk. And we don't always do that, but we certainly always pretty much can.
I think you bring up a really good thing about that crossroad of like letting, since we're talking about anger and rage, but like letting that be like a warning light for your life. Like there's something going on that you would have. Like, what is it that's fueling, like in your case, this strong reaction to the Charlie Kirk assassination? Like, why would you react so strongly? And that's what I often do. Like when I have super strong reactions, especially in anger, I do ask myself, where's this? And I ask God, I'm like, help me see, like, what is this connected to? Like when you brought up, like, one of your like fear. Okay, then you can like talk about that and talk about that with the Lord. And
Here's what it'd be like for me, is if somebody kept saying lies about Rich, and to the point where somebody believed the lies and shot him in the neck, and then said he deserved it, and then laughed about it, and then said that you all, or anybody that even knows Rich, you all are next, and that his family should have it, and that should happen to his family, that should happen to his kids. These are the things that I listened to Charlie's podcast in their entirety, and so I knew that the clips that are taken out are almost all political, but he always, in a 2-hour clip, would always bring things back to Jesus, and his, his hope and.
So you really felt like a huge misunderstanding, like that they grossly misunderstood.
Deliberately, yeah.
And
Misrepresented.
deliberately misrepresented
Yeah.
who he really is.
And that's even through even believers that would listen to clips and say, "Oh, he's just a political guy," and because I'll throw it on and while I'm working all day, and so I'm not a person that can be gaslit on that issue, and wow, that was pretty tough. So it felt like Charlie was a real like a mentor, or because the way he would not get angry when he was talking to people about his faith and the things that he believed in, and how he could always bring it back to, like, when people were going nuts, which I struggle with that. How do I get it back to talking about about my faith, and he was so good at that, and then have to listen to the lies, and even now, I mean, people make fun of, the Charlie Kirk neck thing. It's a thing now on, so all that just to say is it's. I felt that to be a lot different than, let's say, that I got mad because Valerie broke a dish, or something ridiculous to get angry about.
I want to talk about broken dishes.
Okay.
We break a lot of dishes.
You got to live with a concrete floor.
Well, I live with a lot of people, which helps you break more.
Well, that's true.
Well, you have grandchildren. Do they break things sometimes at the house? Or?
We don't care, but they probably do.
Exactly. But like Sam broke the coffee pot, the coffee carafe this morning, and we have one in the garage in the breezeway, which is great. But like, he's like, "Oh shoot, I broke the coffee carafe," and I'm like, "Well, there's one in the breezeway," and that's where that ends. Now, there are some dishes that I hope they don't get broken because some people will be upset, but I just don't care.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy to not care.
It's just a thing.
And it is though a reminder to me of I promise you, it really reminds me of the dust that we're made of and the vapor that we are.
Yes.
Like I could feel that right now. Man, we're here today and gone tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like, and we're, yeah. So, and I've been in one particular situation where a little kid spilled some juice and someone lost their mind. And I just thought that person did not mean to show me their entire soul, but they did.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, we've had people over that, they would spill milk or something. And it was even more funny, I think, one time, water. And I'm like, and they were, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm like, it's water. It's a concrete floor."
I'm talking about though, like a child being cursed,
Yeah.
like not just when I say cursed, I don't mean use the cuss word, although that can be part of cursing, but like, you are this person, you are,
Yeah.
so
you are clumsy, you are disrespectful.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
well, okay, so I don't want to. We have to come back to this again soon, but in your anger, do not sin. Don't let the sun go down on your.
Yikes. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the part, do not give the devil a foothold.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's why I think rage is especially important.
Yeah.
So if, let's say someone was at church Sunday and they said, I happen to know of at least 2 people who were there Sunday who had a rage moment recently. And if they said, well, I must be, I really suck. I'm the worst. And I guess there's no hope for me. Or I try not to rage, but I get enraged by this. They're making that path choice. And I would say, if that's you, if you have lost it, and anyway, I still don't think it's a scale somehow. I don't think it's anger to rage. I think if you're brawling, which is a funny word there, if you're engaging in a fight,
Looking for a fight. Yeah.
that you need help, like you need spiritual help because you're giving the devil a foothold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And anger will ruin your life in so many ways, including depression, which I don't know. Let's talk about you guys. My understanding is that anger suppressed feeds or creates depression.
It does.
Well, it has health implications as
Yeah.
well. Physical health implications. Yeah. Blood pressure.
Right.
All those things.
And I think it's probably pretty common that, let's say I was angry about something at the hospitals that I work at. If I just keep going, well, I guess I'm just not important enough to have a say in that. And I just keep, and I don't even bring it to the Lord. I just kind of, because I've gotten into habits of, I'm my own shepherd, and I don't say it to my. There's all these decisions to make, right? Like, do you bring this to your boss? Well, sometimes you shouldn't, right? It makes things worse.
Yeah.
Sometimes this thing just needs, but we have a shepherd. And then we have, like if I have anything, I have some friends. So I can say, well, I honestly say this about every week. I say, who could possibly stand listening to me one more time?
Yeah.
Complain about how out of sorts I am. I'm out of sync with the whole world, I feel like, basically.
Well, that would be one of those. Would be me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and but if you don't, then you could smash that into your depression.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could rage out. You could just be bitter.
Yeah.
I said, what I say? I didn't send this to you, Jenny, but I sent it to Mark and them. I'll send it right to you. We're going through a trial, which I won't go into right now. Life is a trial.
Yeah.
Where was that at? Wow, you guys are going a lot of text yesterday. I said to my friends, if I don't become bitter, afraid, or hard from these days, I will become more humble and more useful to the King.
Yes.
Bitter, angry, right? Bitter, afraid.
Yeah, I think that was the point that over this Charlie Kirk rage thing is of what value am I to the kingdom? And the answer to that was, in this state, I'm not much.
Yeah.
I'm not going to convince
sometimes.
anybody by just raging out.
Well, and I think that's particularly that we've lost focus. Like when that happens, we've lost focus on the Lord. And so we have turned our focus, too much of our focus. It doesn't mean that we ignore situations, but to make this is what I'm learning in my life, to let those situations take up all of my focus it damages me. For me, it draws me to despair. It draws me to extreme sadness where I'm stuck. And my desire to change in this situation is to remind myself and to continually do practical things that where I am focusing on the Lord himself, in my relationship with him, and that I'm not forgetting these situations. I'm not I'm not minimizing them. I'm not like a Pollyanna that I'm just, oh, everything is rose colored, blah, blah, blah. But I'm trying to think of ways how, because just looking at like, how can my soul have hope in the Lord in all of this? And I have to change where I'm looking.
Mm-hmm.
I think we need. I need a new way to say what I remember when I was younger. People saying, "God's not done with me yet." But I need a fresher way. Like I am. I say this a lot. I think at church, but I do believe that at 70, I'll be a lot different than I am.
I hope so,
at 57.
man.
I hope that I am.
I mean, me. I hope that I am.
It's better if
I
you
hope
said
that
me.
I
I
am.
think
Yeah.
that'd be fun.
We hope you are, Rich.
And then, you
Yeah.
know, there's a time, you know, when you're, well, I don't know. I work with people in extended care, nursing home, and they're fixed, sort of mentally. They're fixed, right? They're declined. But spiritually, they're not. They're, you run into people sometimes who are not, they're not in decline spiritually. They're still drawing closer to God.
It's weird. I've been a Christian since 12 years, since I was 12. In a lot of ways, for whatever reason, I always feel like I'm a new Christian.
That's good,
Oh, okay.
I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I think positionally, and because I've been given grace to do some beautiful things, sometimes I think I get elevated by other people, or they don't really see, and they would be uncomfortable if they did see who I am. I think that's part of why it's important to say, like, I have hope. I have hope. Just as the people when I was really, really a bad kid, they had hope for me. And now I have hope for me. There's really not, I don't want to overstate this, but I'm not sure there's anyone else to have that hope for me anymore in the same way. Like my mom and
Like
dad.
your mom and dad.
And like my Sunday school teachers.
Yeah.
They, maybe Terry Harris is around,
Yeah.
but that they think, but that child that's still, you said you feel like a new Christian. But,
Yeah.
But I have hope. I hope I'm expressing it I think I do, to my churchies and to my family and my friends. I need to wrap up. I'm going to go to the chiropractor.
Oh, okay.
So,
Get your bones cracked.
if you heard any of this and you want to talk about it,
Please do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we're here for.
there is no phone book, but somehow you could find us.
You can find us. I thought your email address is on it.
I think it is. I'm just saying there's no phone book, but you could
Okay.
look me up somewhere.
Yeah.
Any of us would answer your call.
If there were a phone book, look us up. and
We'd be in it.
We'd
we
be
would
in.
definitely be in it. Yeah. That's how we knew we arrived, because we were in the phone book. That's a reference that some of you get, some of you won't.
Oh man, I remember just flipping the phone book and just to random numbers and prank calling them. Oh,
We found a lady whose name was Ima Skintick.
Wow.
And I called her and I forget what I said, but I had to talk to her.
Wow. Wow. I
It
guess
would have been your best day of your
oh my
life,
gosh,
wouldn't
that
it?
would have been one of
I
the best
bet you
days of my life.
kids probably don't do that today, right?
Well, of course not.
You can't.
No, they can't.
Yeah.
And that is what is bothering this generation.
We should tell the littles to prank us.
Yes.
Tell Annabelle and Claire to prank call
can
us,
prank
and,
call
and
us.
Rosalie.
Oh,
Yes.
that
So
would be
they
so
can
sweet.
experience that.
That would be so
yeah.
sweet.
Because it was such a good... Star 69 was the first problem in this
Yeah.
country.
Yeah.
When you could find out who had just called you. And
Yeah.
Yeah. Beep, boop, 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 beep, boop, boop.
Yet we digress. All right. Love you guys.
Grace and peace to you.
Yeah.